Joining a community, well, it needs to be something that you're going to be interested in. And you don't have to dive off the deep end and do absolutely everything in the beginning. Sometimes you just need to look and see and feel, oh, are these people the kind of people I want to be with? Is this the activity I want to do? And then once you're comfortable with the people, the activity is going to follow.
I was part of banking and investing, and that was a hobby of mine during my adult life. I've been a long-time investor and joined a group here at OLLI, both a class and as a club called the Investment Forum. And it is a group of about 120 long-time investors who get together every week. I set the agenda and we talk about investments and how to invest and what to invest in. And that's been extremely rewarding for me, and it continues what I've been doing for most of my adult life.
Well, I've always been interested in the arts, in the theater. This is actually the third theater group that I've started. So I started the first one with the Ski Club of Washington, D.C., which is ongoing, and the second one with the Welcome Club of Northern Virginia, which I called Arts and Smarts. And then when I got to OLLI, they asked me to start one here. So here we are.
Hello, I'm Ann Hall. Welcome to Mature Living. In past episodes, we've explored ways to maximize physical and mental well-being as we age. Recent shows have covered fall prevention, competitive sports, and mindfulness. In this episode, we're going to shift our focus to community and explore how mature residents are building community by creating groups that share some sort of interest. These groups are often referred to as clubs, affinity groups, or special interest groups, and are often offshoots of larger organizations. They reflect a wide range of interests such as photography, theater, genealogy, and even public service. Our first guests will discuss the many clubs and special interest groups at George Mason University's Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, otherwise known as OLLI. Jennifer DeSano is Executive Director of this organization, and Alice Slayton Clark is the group's Communications and Program Associate. Welcome, Jennifer and Alice. Jennifer, let's begin our discussion with you. Can you tell us a bit about OLLI?
Sure. OLLI is the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at George Mason University. We're a 501c3, and we've been around for 30 years. We've offered programming for people who are 50 and over. We have 3 campuses in Northern Virginia, and we have over 600 course offerings, including clubs and special events and trips. And we are, very happy to be this success story that started sort of with just a few people around a coffee table who decided that they wanted to do something in retirement where they could attend lectures. And 30 years later, we're offering this wonderful program to residents here in Northern Virginia.
That's great. Alice, I understand there's a wide variety of clubs and special interest groups that are affiliated with OLLI. Can you tell us about some of these?
Sure. OLLI has a wide variety of clubs. We have every interest under the sun represented by our interest groups. It all depends on what the interest is of the members. We range from arts. We have a Annex Art Club, and then we've got stuff that's very technical, like financial analysis. We have an investment forum, photography. So it can go from hobbies to interests that are more practical, like finances or anyway, it all depends on what comes up from the membership and what they're interested in pursuing.
So when did these groups begin to form, Jennifer?
So because OLLI began with as a grassroots kind of movement with a small membership, we started with about 100 people. It was totally volunteer run. And we needed people to be responsible for the AV equipment, and we needed people to, take care of the grounds and garden. And from those sort of necessities, these clubs were born. We have an AV club that handles now not only our AV equipment needs, but also offers services to the community. The third Saturday of every month, they get together, and if someone from the community needs help with a computer issue, they're there to help them. And we have a club called the Dirty Knee Club that is our gardening club, and they take care of all of our beautiful landscaping around our Fairfax campus. So in that case, that's how the organization began, and the collective expanded, and these kind of interest groups blossomed from that.
So Alice, how do you start a group with OLLI? How does that process work?
Yeah, so it comes up organically through the membership, and it can be formalized or not formalized, and Jennifer can talk a little bit about the latter. We normally will ask a person who comes to us with an interest, say they want to start Mahjong, to first put out a note in our electronic newsletter saying, is there anybody interested in doing Mahjong? We're going to gather and talk about it. And then they try to assemble some sort of structure where they can have co-coordinators and people to back up each other in case of other needs. And we support them at the staff level by trying to accommodate them on our campus. And now that we have 26 clubs, it's gotten very hard to manage them all. So we squeeze them in during our terms, but we're able to manage it.
Isn't that great? So Jennifer, why do you suppose people become involved with these groups? What's the attraction?
Well, I think that the social nature of our organization allows for people to get together and find friends, and those friends might want to do something together, like we have an ethnic eats group that goes out to different restaurants, and we have a cooking club that people will meet at each other's homes and cook different meals together. So that's one aspect where you have this sort of organic way of coming across someone and deciding together that you would like to formalize that interest into a group. And so that's one way in which it's forged. Some of these are born from classes that we have offered. And one example would be the Investment Forum, which is a class which over the last 30 years, folks have gotten together and they talk about changes in the stock market, interesting businesses to explore and learn about. And that class, actually, there was enough interest that they started a club, so it can continue all year round. Yeah, so that's another feature of OLLI, is this sort of established clubs that we have. We have literature clubs, we have memoir writing clubs, we have a whole variety of interests which are established, but then you have this other piece, which is just having the flexibility to start something new if you get a group together.
Wonderful. So Jennifer, how has membership in these types of groups benefited participants?
Oh, well, I think it's just 100% good for them.
Sure. Sounds like there's a social aspect.
It's the social side. So there are many studies out there that talk about what you need to be healthy and well as you age, and what to worry about. Like social isolation is a very bad thing, and so when you are involved in an affinity group, such as the ones that we've talked about, you are satisfying that piece that is so important to your health and well-being, which is to stay connected with one another and avoid loneliness. It's also really wonderful to have an informal way of gathering with people that you do the formal classes. It's very structured, but then you have this sort of informal thing which you're sharing with your fellow OLLI members, and that just gives you an opportunity to share what's going on in your life. You may be going through similar life changes, and so this gives you a friend group, and that's very important. We also have a side to this I think Alice is going to speak to, which is social engagement and doing well for others, and that can also have great health benefits.
So I understand that some of the groups support the greater community. Can you tell us about that?
We have a few of our clubs who have reached out beyond OLLI to do to practice their interest and donated their time into the community. One of our most engaged clubs is the photography club. It's a group of 40 or so people, maybe more, who have a link with Mason, or they have a link with a professional group in the community, and they've offered back their services to these groups in order to help the group in need. So for example, the Mason Theater Department, they've donated tons of hours photographing headshots of the students for their portfolio development, and they've also photographed just their dress rehearsals so they can put them up on the website or put them on their programs. So it's giving them free advertising, free supports for their department. We've also had our photography club go out and donate time to the USO. So we have a lot of military members in OLLI, and so they've offered up to do shots of wounded warriors, families, and they do it around the holiday times and provide them free Christmas photos. They've also done a lot of work for the county. They've done some photos for the 275th anniversary celebration that we had a couple years ago. They took pictures of the now, for the then and now exhibit that they did for the county, so they could juxtapose old pictures of, say, Tyson's Corner with the today's pictures, which is quite shocking. And they've done some work with the Senior Olympics that are run through the county. Just last year, they donated they've donated hundreds of hours to the county, and they got awarded last spring for a volunteer award from the county for the service to the, providing that kind of aspect to enrich the community through their volunteer work.
So this has all been so informative and interesting. Are there any final thoughts that you'd like to share with us? And please tell us how we can find out more.
Yes, I would say that it's very important for folks in their older years to make sure that they're staying connected with friends and getting engaged with activities. And OLLI is a great way to do that, and we're open to everyone. If you want to learn more about how to get involved with OLLI, you can visit our website at olli.gmu.edu, and also we'll provide you a phone number, which I think is going to be on the screen, 703-503-3384.
Yeah, it's a great organization. If you're not involved yet, you should get involved. It's just been a lifesaver for so many of our members, providing community and interest for them in their retirement years.
That's great. Jennifer and Alice, thank you so much for sharing all these great opportunities with us. Now we'll hear from Phyllis Palombi, a licensed professional counselor who is also a member of the Fairfax Area Commission on Aging. Phyllis will tell us about the special significance of interest groups during retirement. We'll be right back.
When I think about my parents retiring, I think of being old. And today, people are not old when they retire. And I think one of the things that I work with are the challenges of getting out of your house after you have lost your group. And how does it feel not to be intellectually stimulated? So it's one thing when you retire to lose colleagues and friends and to think. And it's another issue to stop belonging to an organization. One of the areas that is a prime concern in the Commission on Aging, of which I am the Commissioner for Hunter Mill District, we talk a lot about social isolation. And social isolation can lead to depression, and it keeps people really stuck. And there are many, many programs in Fairfax County that a lot of people, as I'm new to this commission position, but I'm finding people don't know about a lot of the programs that are offered. There are so many opportunities out there for people to tutor. Another gentleman that I work with, he works at a church to help people with their taxes and accounting issues. I mean, so you could pick an area that either you've worked in before or have a very strong interest in.
Retiring is a big move for anybody, especially for people who had long, rewarding careers. And everybody asks themselves, what's it going to be like retired? And I've been at it for 12 years, and I tell them, believe me, you will find plenty of activities and rewarding things to do. I've been a member of the Investment Forum and OLLI since I retired 12 years ago. I'm doing something that I'd be doing anyway, namely following the markets, reading the Wall Street Journal, I will continue to go as long as the health holds up and my interest stays, but I'm in it for the long term.
I always enjoyed photography, but I never really had time to make interesting pictures until I joined this group. And we'll have different themes for our club meetings. So this month the topic is going to be doors. So we might see 20 different pictures of doors for our monthly competition. So it's fun to go out and maybe you don't think that door is all that interesting, but it's got a great doorknob to look at. And so it's just a fun thing to do. It's great to be a part of a group where people have a similar interest. And you see them on a regular basis, and you can talk about your interest. And you learn so many new things from other people, too. I've learned different techniques in photography that I might not have explored before talking to somebody else. We have people who use cell phones, and we have people who use professional equipment. We go to all levels, and everybody feels comfortable. And that's what it's all about.
Well, I'm mainly connected with a theater group, the Theater Lovers Group, which I started about 5 or 6 years ago. And it's been quite a journey. It's been sort of like a mystery trip that you signed up for. And it's taken you to very interesting places that you probably never would have gone on your own. Met very interesting people and learned an awful lot. We have 90 theaters in the Washington, D.C. area, which would take you more than 2 years to attend if you were to attend one every week, which is just mind-boggling. A community that involves or is made up of different age groups, different interests, is very healthy for both the senior and for the younger person, because we benefit each other.
I started a caring community where people need to connect, and that is not just the elderly, but getting people who want to help other people. We identify people in need. One person helps the next person, and it is a vital part of feeling less depressed and less isolated and feeling like you're living amongst people that are helpful and that you know. And this is neighbor to neighbor, caring committees, and they're springing up all over. Groups grow according to need, and there are many affinity groups. I mean, if you look at the meetup groups that really have all age groups involved, from the young people that I see who are dating to find interest groups, whether it's tennis or hiking or an art group. There are those groups, and there are church groups, people who are connected to their religious organizations do very well. There are those people who don't want to socialize and don't want to get out, and they're perfectly happy, but they want something to do. So often I look at groups that, like cooking groups and cooking classes, where you can go and learn a skill, but you don't really have to interact with other people if you don't want to interact. So I'm not advocating that we have to make friends and socialize and go out every night. I think you have to find things that inspire you and get to the core of the things that you like to do and makes you feel vital and still involved in learning.
Welcome back. In the first part of today's show, we talked with staff from George Mason University's OLLI program about their special clubs and groups. Now we'll explore groups affiliated with the county's senior centers and the Fairfax Genealogical Society. Joining us are Dee White, Director of Little River Glen Senior Center, Jim Link, the President of the Fairfax Genealogical Society, and Emma Marshall, a member of that group's new African American Special Interest Group. Welcome, Jim, Emma, and Dee. Dee, we'll start with you. Would you like to tell us about the groups affiliated with your senior center and how they developed and some of the things that they do?
Sure. So we have lots going on at our senior center. Two of the groups that we have that kind of are special interest groups are the Knit and Crochet group. They've been around for, according to some folks, for at least 25 years.
Wow.
So they really have a passion for what they do. They get together once a week and make various knitted and crocheted items for different groups. So they have worked with Ellie's Hats, which has given hats for children with cancer. They have worked with the VA Center down in Washington, D.C., and have made blankets and hats, gloves, scarves, all kinds of things for them. They also make those type of items for the homeless. We work with a faith-based organization to give those out. And they also sell their items and take the proceeds and use that to give back to food pantries or to VA organizations and things like that. One of the other organizations is the Dresses for Africa. And Dresses for Africa makes about 400 dresses a year. Beautiful, beautiful dresses, really neat prints, and they work with someone in Charlotte, North Carolina, who we mail the dresses to, and then they actually take them to Uganda, give those dresses out, and the best part of it is when they take the pictures of the kids in the clothing and send them back to us so that they're able to see the dresses that they made in those pictures. So I think it's very rewarding for those folks to be able to see, you know, their work in action.
Right. Oh, that's wonderful. So, Jim, I understand that the Fairfax Genealogical Society has a number of special interest groups. Could you tell us about the society and then about these special interest groups, also known as SIGs?
Yes. The society was formed in the early 70s, became a nonprofit society in the 80s, and in the 90s, the members saw a need for special interest groups, where you, rather than just focusing on general genealogy, it was on specific areas. Mm-hmm. We currently have 9 of those, and it focuses on everything from Irish genealogy, German genealogy. There's one on methodology, basic writing, and one on DNA. It was our new, and the African American is our newest special interest group.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So Emma, you're a member of the Society's new African American SIG. What led you to this group, and what are people getting out of this group?
Well, it's a wonderful group. What led me was the county had a lunch and learn with just general genealogy, and I was there, and we had Laura Wickstead there who taught the class, and she was just marvelous, just wonderful, funny, and just had a warm personality. And I had asked her at the end of it, we did about 3 sessions, is there anything specific for African Americans? I was brought up in our parents didn't talk a lot about their historical stuff or, you know, ancestry. They just, you know, we had beautiful pictures, but half of them I didn't know who they were. And then some of the time I didn't care because I was young. I wanted, you know, peppy stuff. I didn't want old rusty history. And then I realized as I grew older and had children that that was really important to know more history. So I was so excited to know more history. And then Miss Wickstead sent an email out saying that they were going to start a African American group. And I thought, oh, wow, that's going to be real interesting with other folks who are seeking their history. And so I went, and it was just marvelous. We had a wonderful time.
Wonderful. So, Dee, there are lots of groups that are active in the county's senior centers. What draws people to your groups, and is there something in particular that people are looking for when they come to your center?
Like you said, there's 14 different senior centers in Fairfax County, and all of them are probably doing something similar to what we're doing. I think they get interested when they see people doing, see the finished product. How can I get involved in that? They come, some folks are experienced and some folks are taught, and then they get that social connection. They become a group that, you know, cares about each other and are interested and share things. So I think it's the social connection that they really enjoy, plus the being able to, you know, have that feeling of being useful, being able to give back to the community.
Jim, would you agree with that?
Yes, I would. In fact, it's an opportunity for a very diverse group of people to come together, share their experiences, share their knowledge, and a community aspect as well.
So what are some of the other reasons why these groups are important?
I think they're important for sharing information and building bonds with people in the community. We get together, and I've met a lot of strangers now that are actually family members. Some of them have ancestors that have known my ancestors, and they say, oh, you're in my group. And that really makes it fun, because you're not quite sure. We're just all 6 degrees of separation from each other.
Yes,
so
yeah.
there is a lot of connectivity. And the library hosts us for free, which is wonderful in this Fairfax community.
Isn't that great? What are some of the activities that you have sponsored within the community?
We hold monthly meetings. In fact, twice a month we have education opportunities on a variety of topics. And we also hold twice a year, we typically have a conference, a full-day conference. They can all be found, all these activities, plus we sponsor field trips downtown to help with scanning at NARA. And all these activities can be found on our website, fxgs.org.
So Dee, would you agree that this is important?
Yes, definitely. I think our center loves to be able to be involved in the community, to feel a connection to the bigger community. We do smaller service projects probably once a quarter. We've worked with Days for Girls. We've worked with packing food for the veterans, work with Bright Paths on collecting food. So they really enjoy giving back to the community, and that, in a sense, makes them feel more connected.
Great. Are there any other things that you'd like to add to what we've already talked about?
Our organization is completely volunteer, and we're a nonprofit, and we really appreciate the more members we have, the more active an organization we can be.
And would you agree with that too?
Yes.
What do you see as the future of these special interest groups and activities?
We've noticed that the membership needs to have a larger group of younger members. Interest in family history is not necessarily, as Emma mentioned, a interest of the younger group, but it would be nice to have a younger group in participating, showing us new technology, and be able to share more information.
Would you agree with that too?
Yes. And I think it would be nice for this younger group to take some pride in their history. Once they know it and get involved, I think that will help them through the years as they grow and mature here in Fairfax County.
Okay. Dee, would you agree with that too?
Yeah, I think, the intergenerational aspect is something that we strive for at our center as well, bringing the youth and the older folks together to be able to accomplish some things.
Dee, Emma, and Jim, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all this exciting information.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this edition of Mature Living. I'm Ann Hall, and we'll see you next time.